I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've lost my influence. Maybe it's time I retired the coat.
You still have it.
Some kids with a deer rifle put 2 holes in the sleigh, one in me. All I have is a loathing for a world that's forgotten.
Comedy, I think, is the smallest part of it because we really fought hard to make it feel very grounded. We want to take the supernatural story of fantasy that you know the story of Santa Claus or Kris Kringle since you were a child, and we wanted to take that and do it in a way that it hadn't been seen before. We really wanted to place it into the real world, so you never felt drawn out.
Yeah.
And I think the performances by both Mel and Walton are fantastic. Obviously, Walton gets to be a little more off the chain because his character is just a little crazier, but Mel is that centerpiece. Him and Marianne Jean-Baptiste, who is an incredible actress. Their chemistry, they really made it feel alive and real.
You just lost a big son, Fatman!
What's the job?
I'd like you to kill Santa Claus.
So with this, we intentionally, like I said, really wanted to stay grounded. So some of our references were movies more like No Country for Old Men. You know, I really set out to make No Country for Snowmen. That was what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to feel real and never be drawn out. I mean, even in the design of the elves, they're just sort of jaundiced. They didn't go with little people. They went with just diminutive adults who felt the part. And even in their design, their costume design, they went with a very like American Revolution, Industrial Revolution sort of look, you know, to keep it grounded in that way. And that's sort of like the most fantastical point you get into it, because the moment he goes from the outside of his barn into the barn and then down that ramp, it changes a little bit. It becomes a little more fantastical. As I said, I was aiming for more of a No Country, a very grounded thing. But when he steps into that barn, it gets a little more Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
The pools of light, and it feels a little bit different than the rest of the movie. So I wanted to separate it just a little bit. And for me, especially with The Factory, it was this balancing act because I wanted it to feel moody and interesting. And I still wanted it to feel a bit fantastical, but I never wanted it to feel like a sweatshop. I didn't want you to feel like the elves are forced underground.
Yeah.
Your workers sure have healthy appetites.
That's why elves live much longer than humans.
And Chris, he does the same?
No, it's a giving that keeps him young.